Hey guys, what's up? This is LAMEBot, and this month's episode is going to be a little different. It's a bit of a two-in-one because I'm giving you a slight preview of my remix for How to Destroy Angels amazing track. It's called How Long, and I'm also going to show you how I create some of those pulsing, airy, synthy atmospheres in some of the slower tracks that I have. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is show you where it's coming from. This is the synths that are in that track. I've already kind of marked off a section I really like and just let you hear it right here. There's already a lot of space and some reverb in that. So what we're going to do is, again, just push that to the next level. Here I have it done already. I'm just going to show you the final product and then explain it. Okay, there's more pulse. You see I hit stop and there's a lot more of a reverb tail going on. Okay, so that was just an example of how that can be done. I'm going to go ahead and just create a new track outside of the group and just carry this over. And here's the synth. That's the same exact synth that I played earlier that's coming from here. It's just cut to that section. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to my instrument rack and I'm going to pull out the low section of my drum kit. Okay, and I'm going to select both of these tracks and group them together. And I'm going to take the recording function off. I'm going to create just a simple 2-kick 1-bar loop. I'm going to use my 808 here. Probably going to shorten these just a tad. Okay, and here you go. You can hear it. Okay, let me delete this group and just start fresh. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make this thing pulse. There's two different ways that we can achieve this. We can either sidechain gate or sidechain compress. Because I kind of want this to be a little smoother and I want to do a couple different layers of effects, we're going to go ahead and use the sidechain compress. So we're going to bring in a compressor to the synth here, that synth track. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select it and immediately hit Command G. Bam, creates a group. Now here I'll have a chain. I'm going to select RMS here so that it affects the whole signal and not just the peaks. And I'm going to smash this down to about -36. I'll bring the ratio pretty much all, let's bring it to about 6. Bring this down. And let's give that a listen. It'd be good if I unsoloed, right? Now you're like, well, what's going on? We don't really hear anything. It's just a little louder because compressing it is not enough. You're going to want to go ahead and open this tab here, hit sidechain, audio from, and it's going to be coming from the drum lows. So now anytime the signal from my drums passes -36, it's going to go ahead and compress the sound. And now we're going to get this. All right, so that's going to be our main one. And that's really clean. It's a good sound. We're going to add a couple different effect layers to this. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate it. Okay, and we're going to go back into the main one because we're not entirely done. I'm going to go ahead and just add a nice little reverb tail to this. And make sure it's in the group. I normally do this with a couple different third-party plugins, but for the sake of everyone being able to complete the same type of sound without wasting any extra money, I'm going to go ahead and do this solely with what's available in Ableton. Okay, what I'm going to do is bring the diffuse up to 4 and the reflect up to 2 just to kind of make it a little bright. We're going to bring the decay time up really high just so we can hear this right now. The density, we're going to bring it to about 80 and the scale to about 60. Let's give it a listen. Kind of ghostly, right? Okay, cool. So we're going to duplicate that chain. Delete this extra one I made here. So we're going to call this Ghost. Now this one, what we're going to do is just bring the decay time to, let's say about 7 seconds. Somewhere around there, like early 7 seconds. I'm going to bring this dry wet down heavily. So we can hear the brightness of the signal. Okay. Now let's focus on that ghost chain again. Let's just hear it. Okay, what I'm going to do is add a little bit of grain delay. Grain delay is a little tricky because it can go from sounding really awesome to really bad very quickly. So we're going to go ahead and affect the spray. And it gives it kind of this very air-filled vibe. Okay, now we're going to go back to the main and create another duplicate. Everything's being worked off that. I'm going to silence this and go back into here. Now in this one, we're going to add some ping pong delay. We're just going to bring the dry wet all the way up just so we can hear it. Now this is just taking the sound from left to right and giving it a delay. We're going to bring the feedback down to about 45. I'm going to want a little bit more ping on the lower end. We're also going to go ahead and add a little saturation. The cool thing about saturation is you really don't have to mess with it much to get a good sound. We're going to change this to about medium curve. And it's already a louder signal, kind of warmer. Bring the dry wet just a tad down, maybe to about 95. Kind of gives it this warm feeling. So let's call it warm. Why not? Okay, we're also going to go ahead and add our good friend erosion. And let's go ahead and minimize some of these that we're not going to touch anymore. Now here's the tricky part, finding the good frequency for erosion without making it sound too electronic. There we go. Okay, now the great thing about having your sound set up like this is you are just gating one signal. Then that one signal is being grouped into different effects chains, and then you can go ahead and use this as a mixer. Let's bring all of these down and activate all the speakers. Now, what I'm going to do is go ahead and turn off the kick drum track. It's still playing, and that signal is still compressing, as you can see down here. It's still adding the compression to the sound. What we're going to do is just bring these up slowly. Bring our main to 0. And then we're going to start adding in the other sounds. Okay, now overall, this is giving us a sound that varies greatly from that original synth pattern. Go ahead and stop this, and I'll play that one clip for you again. That's the clip that I have playing. Now this is what it sounds like again with the effects chain and the ghost compression. It's focused a lot more on the air that's in the synth than the actual brighter tones that are in there. Kind of gives it a darker feel. The good thing about doing the side compression like this is one, while the kick isn't playing, and you can change the kick pattern to give it different types of pulse. But then you can go ahead and use this as a mixer. You're using less CPU than you would if you were to duplicate this track several times and add effects that way. And also, since it is in a group, you can go ahead and add effects to the whole. So if I were to go back in and, for instance, add flames to the entire thing, bring the envelope up to, like, let's say 30. Maybe add a little chorus modulation. And bring the dry wet of the chorus down to about 20. And then you get kind of this very old, worn sound, almost like a tape that has been played too long. Too many times, and it's kind of stretched out the sound. And this is all being achieved with the stock effects within Ableton, no third-party plugins. Okay, what I would do later is go ahead and actually either sidechain compress or sidechain gate this entire group to the drums or the kicks within my new track. Sorry about that. So then this would be sidechain compressor or sidechain gated to the kicks or one of the kicks in my completed track. So you would get kind of like a double sidechain effect. You would have that ghost kick, which is on this track, gating this, compressing this. And then the kicks of my finished track will then either gate or compress this version of the sound. So it gives you this kind of weird effect. A lot of ambience. And then you can go ahead and if you want to, you can go back and EQ these individually. Pan one left, pan one right, whatever you want to do. Okay, that's pretty much it. There's 1,001 ways to get a similar effect. This is just the way that I like to do it. I feel it's the neatest. I feel it's probably one of the ways where you can control your sound, you know, as much as you want, as neat as possible. I'm a bit of a nerd and a neat freak when it comes to my Ableton sessions. So that's just the way I like to do things. If you have another way, please feel free, post it in the comments, video reply, whatever. If you have any other questions, anything else that you want to see, figure out how I do something, please just let me know. Go ahead and either leave a comment below or follow me on Twitter or Facebook and just send me a message and I'll get to you when I can. Peace.